10,000 years ago, humans made a decision that destroyed their health. They called it farming, and they had no idea what they were doing to themselves. For 300,000 years, the average human worked between 3 and 5 hours a day. They ate over 200 different types of food. They were taller, had stronger bones, fewer infections, better teeth, and lived in groups where no one owned more than anyone else. Then 10,000 years ago, humans began to plant seeds, and within a few generations, everything collapsed. The skeletons do not lie. When agriculture arrived, average height dropped. Archaeologists measuring bones from both sides of this transition found something unambiguous. Signs of nutritional deficiency appeared in the teeth and the joints. The people who adopted farming became, by almost every biological measure, worse off. Jared Diamond called agriculture the worst mistake in the history of the human race. Not an exaggeration. A conclusion drawn from 10,000 years of human bones. To understand what was lost, you need to understand what hunter-gatherers actually had. Not a brutal life of constant danger. The evidence tells a completely different story. Hunter-gatherers worked an average of 15 hours per week to feed themselves. The rest was rest, social connection, play, story, and sleep. Their diet contained over 200 plant species, dozens of animal species, seasonal variety. The successful hunter shared everything. Accumulation was socially suppressed. In virtually every hunter-gatherer society, no one owned more land than another. No human being owed debt to another. No human worked for another's profit. That world ended 10,000 years ago. And the people who ended it did not know what they were trading. A farmer 10,000 years ago worked from before sunrise to after dark. Plowing, planting, weeding, harvesting, grinding, work that never ended. The skeleton of a Neolithic farmer looks like someone who spent their entire life doing heavy manual labor. Farming cultures became dependent on one or two crops. The diet collapsed. Wheat, barley, rice. Calorie-dense but nutritionally narrow. When you live in one place permanently and keep animals close, disease arrives. Tuberculosis, smallpox, measles. The great infectious diseases are almost all diseases of agricultural settlement. When you plant seeds and clear land, you have something worth defending. Property was born. With property came people willing to take it by force. War arrived. Organized violent conflict is not visible in the record before agriculture. After it is everywhere. And then the fifth consequence, the one that explains almost everything wrong with modern life. Hierarchy arrived. When land can be owned and grain can be stored, some people accumulate more than others. That accumulation becomes permanent. It passes to children. It grows across generations. Within a few thousand years of agriculture's beginning, there were kings. The first cities were not communities. They were extraction systems. Peasants grew food. A small class took most of it. The rest survived on what remained, by any reasonable measure, less free and less healthy than their hunter-gatherer ancestors. Why did it happen? Each generation made a small, rational choice. The benefits were visible immediately. Costs accumulated slowly across generations. By the time the system was established, the population had grown too large to feed by foraging. Agriculture was not a choice anymore. It was a trap, and the people inside could not see the walls. The average full-time worker today works more hours per year than a medieval peasant. The average modern diet contains fewer distinct food species than a hunter-gatherer diet did. Anxiety disorders, depression, loneliness almost entirely absent from hunter-gatherer populations studied. Your nervous system was not designed for the life you are living. It was designed for movement, variety, social interdependence, and rest. A life that ended 10,000 years ago, and was replaced by something the human body is still adapting to. We have been agricultural for 10,000 years. We were hunter-gatherers for 300,000. Evolution does not move that fast. The body is still running ancient programming. The ancient life provided all four automatically, without effort, without choice. Modern life requires you to deliberately reconstruct what was once automatic. The skeleton comparison is the most honest argument. Biology does not lie. Agriculture fed more people, and made almost all of them worse off. More calories, less nutrition, more people, less happiness. That is the agricultural bargain. Eventually, agriculture built civilization, science, medicine, art, cities. The same system that made us sick eventually created medicine to treat the sickness it caused. We have spent 10,000 years very slowly clawing back what was lost. You stand at the strange intersection of ancient biology and modern possibility. What the ancient world provided automatically, you can still choose. The structure that made it automatic is gone, but the need is still there. You still have the nervous system of a hunter-gatherer. That is not changing. Understanding why you feel the way you do is the first step toward doing something about it. The campfire was where all four needs were met simultaneously, every single evening. The restlessness you feel, the sense that something is missing despite having enough, that is ancient. 10,000 years ago, humans stopped being happy without realizing it. Let us look more carefully at what the agricultural body actually experienced. Pre-agricultural skeletons show average male height of around 5 feet 9 inches. Post-agricultural skeletons show a drop, sometimes several inches. Within a few generations, cavities are almost unknown before agriculture. After, they are universal. Living with animals in permanent settlements created the bridge for animal diseases to enter humans. Nomadic groups moved too often for diseases to establish themselves. Movement was protection. Permanent settlement created the conditions that made epidemic disease possible for the first time. Farming created repetitive strain, the same muscles, the same motion, every day, for a lifetime. Neolithic spines and joints show damage consistent with repetitive heavy labor. Identical to modern occupational injuries, grains provide calories but lack the full vitamin and mineral profile of a diverse diet. Infant mortality rose with agriculture. More food did not mean safer births or healthier babies. Evidence from female skeletons shows extreme joint damage from daily grain grinding, hours every day, for life. Children in agricultural societies worked from very young ages. The concept of childhood as a protected period barely existed. Hunter-gatherers rarely starved. Agricultural peoples experienced famines regularly when crops failed. Dietary diversity is a form of food security. If one food disappears, hundreds remain. Monoculture farming has one point of failure. If the wheat crop fails, everyone starves. Controlling the grain surplus meant controlling people. Food storage created the first political power. The concept of debt emerged from agriculture. You owe me your labor, you owe me your harvest. Hunter-gatherer decisions were collective. Agricultural decisions were handed down from above. You did not choose this system. Neither did the first farmers. It emerged from small decisions that compounded. Seeing the system clearly is the beginning of being able to navigate it differently. The human body does not know it is in a modern economy. It still expects the campfire. Varied food, real rest, genuine community, physical movement, the ancient needs. Still there. Rest is not laziness. It is what the human body was designed to do most of the time. Community is not social media. It is physical presence, shared experience. Consistent showing up, movement is not exercise. It is what the body was always doing. Every day. All day. When you meet those four needs consistently, your ancient nervous system responds. Every time. The needs have not changed, only the methods for meeting them have changed. You are the first generation with both the ancient biology and the modern knowledge to make this choice consciously. You cannot go back. But you can understand what you are made of, and choose accordingly.